What's up, everyone? So we have a yard machine here with the Briggs and Stratton engine on it. Now if this looks familiar, it's because it was on here before. And no, it wasn't the repair that caused it to go bad back here. It's the usage. The person that took this home did a little spring lawn maintenance, hit something that they didn't see, probably because it was in tall grass, bent the blade. Now if you want to have proof of this, yeah, that's a bent blade, alright. So, unless your name is Austin Powers and you like to live dangerously, I would recommend, if you ever do this, I don't think it's going to be a problem, but there's going to be two things you want, actually three. One, at the very least, change the blade. Don't bend it back, change the blade. Just not worth dealing with. Two, you're going to want to make sure your crank isn't bent. Now I looked at it, it seemed like it was fine, but it's a little hard to kind of tell that, to be honest. If it's a little off, you can tell when it's running. But if it's a little off, it's really hard to tell when it's not running. If it's a lot off, it's easier to tell both ways, but this one didn't appear to be off that much, or if at all. So no worries there. This third thing, probably the hardest part, is going to be checking the flywheel key, because if this hits something hard enough, the flywheel key is designed to shear to prevent damage. And if it is sheared, you're going to pull and start it up again after replacing the blade. And you could potentially have it pop back, pull the cord out. I've known someone to break a finger a couple times doing that. So we're going to check that. So first things first, 2 Phillips head screws. I'm going to take the cover off, and then we'll do the rest. Now we have to take out some of these. So, removing a flywheel, it's kind of the Dodge versus Chevy conversation of the small engine community, I want to say. Everyone has their own thoughts on how they need to do it. Everyone thinks they're right, and everyone else that says anything different is wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm that way too. But when I do it, I know the risk, and depending on the scenario, I may or may not be too careful. If it's a person I'm repairing, yeah, I'll be careful, don't get me wrong. But if it's just a machine that I'm pretty sure is junk anyway, I'm just harvesting parts on there, I'm going to whack it with a hammer. Or if it's being super temperamental, like a 15-year-old in the early 2000s, being all weird, then yeah. Well, I guess any 15-year-old, it doesn't matter what time frame they grew up in. There we go. I'm just going to put all this to the side. Now, we don't need to take the flywheel off yet. That's good news. Bad news is we need to take off the cup. We need to get the proper tools. What is this, 21mm? Not the right one. Did I grab the wrong one? I did. Okay. 24. It's probably the wrong one anyway, but it works. The plug is disconnected, by the way. So we need to find the key, and we need to see if it's broken. Let me show you. See, there it is, right there. Now, do you see on the left, the line doesn't really match up with the groove? That's what I'm talking about. This is a very, very, very mild case, but it needs to be replaced. So I'm gonna pull the handle back on the suicide handle. Now, to release the brake, my mind went blank. That way, this is an inner way. Then we need to take this off, and then we're gonna have to redo the. That's a little grimy too. There we go. Then we're gonna have to redo, or take the flywheel off and redo the key. Don't know when the many struggles of YouTube. Getting you a good shot while sound, which isn't easy, by the way, and not tipping you over, breaking the camera, and having to buy one all the time. So until then, we're gonna have to go a little further away. Okay. This is the method that probably isn't the healthiest. Put the nut on. Take a big old hammer and you whack it. But like I said, in this scenario, it is the best way. Your flywheel key shears. It's exponentially harder to take off. So I'm going to get it taken care of and we'll do this. Now that it's off, I took the key out. And like I said, it wasn't horrible. The flywheel itself looks okay. Another way of doing this is to actually take a pair of pullers, but in my experience, pullers just cause it to break the flywheel. I'm sure someone out there will probably disagree and say that's the correct way, but I just never had any good luck with it. Maybe I'm just not meant to do it, I don't know. Press it down, put the key in. Now there's a torque spec for this, don't assume that there's not. But, oh, and also the reason why you put the nut on there is so you don't mushroom the top, otherwise you won't get the nut on again. But anyway, the torque spec on this is DeWalt XR brushless impact. It's very weird, but it's on there. In addition to that, I'm going to be re-gapping the coil. I'm not going to show that. I'm just going to put everything back together. We'll give it a start. Plug is connected, topped up the oil. Wasn't too low, but it was a tad on the low end. It was maybe a hair above add, so it would have been okay. I just would rather have a little more. It's always a good thing with these auto chokes to kind of lubricate the actual choke mechanism because it can get a little gooey. just the nature of them. I do it to mine every year. I mean, it's a beautiful system as long as you take care of it. Should have gas. Maybe not. There we go. Okay, where we has gas. The blade, I took it off. Obviously, you saw it, and I put a new one on there, freshly balanced, freshly sharpened. Well, one that came off of a different one, but it's freshly balanced and freshly sharpened at least. I think we're ready to go. New key. We should be set. Fingers crossed. No, I don't think that is. I sprayed a little lubricating oil on the choke mechanism, like I said. That's what I was smelling. It was actually WD-40. Okay, well, if you've hit anything, or if you're having a timing issue, check your flywheel key like this. It's basically the same on all engines, it's just the disassembly is different. So, majority of the time you can just take the cup off and take a look. Some of them are a little bit more trickier than others, like the Cumsies have a different type of key, but they're more or less still the same. Just you're gonna have to find that specific type of key. Whatever you do, do not make one. These are meant to shear. It's just not a good idea to put like a piece of steel in there. Don't go to your hardware store, find like a small piece of stock, or find like a screw and grind it down, make a square, put it in there. No, none of that stuff. Get a real key, it's cheap. Get 4 or 5 of them, just in case this happens. Any Briggs will take it. Even the old Briggs takes the same keys. So you're going to be fine if you have a couple extras. Okay, well, that should be about it. Have any questions, leave a comment. Definitely put a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.